Hello and welcome to another video on Homewood Avenue lights. I'm Rabbit. In this video, I'm going to go into a little more detail about what they call pixel lights. You see them running here in the background, all that stuff, but there are different styles of pixel lights and some things you need to be aware of on them. First of all, there are two different kinds of what they call pixel lights. Now they're both RGB, and when we say RGB, they can do pretty much any color in the rainbow. They have a red, a green, and a blue, and by adjusting different levels of each one, you can get your purples, your pinks, your oranges, and stuff like that to give you all your different colors. So I say RGB is pretty much any color in the rainbow. Now, the first thing about pixel lights is there's two different styles. There's what they call smart pixels, which you see running in the background right here. These are smart pixels. Then they have what they call dumb pixels. Smart pixels, as you can see, each individual light bulb can do a separate color. They don't all have to be the same. You see different rainbow effects going in here. They are really nice to be able to do your different effects, your different color schemes, patterns, and all that stuff. When you make a matrix screen, I call them matrix screens, these are just a whole bunch of these lights put in a nice neat row, kind of like a television set works with the different dots and and you can put different items up on there depending on how big. You could do the same thing, and a lot of people are doing it with the trees. They make the big trees out of these smart pixels, and they use the smart pixels in the software, and that's how they get the words to come across them and all that stuff. I've got the computer sitting here, so I'm going to change a couple things here so I can show you exactly what we're talking about on pixels and everything else. First, to clarify this difference between smart pixels and dumb pixels. I've got the screen lit up now. It's all purple. This would be what dumb pixels would do. The entire thing has to be one color. It cannot do individual colors on each bulb. Now it can do all the different colors. You can make them green. If I get the right button on the computer, every once in a while I mess that up. It can be green, be red. You can switch it over to white, blue, and then like I say, any mixture combination of the RGB spectrum, and the computer does it for you. I want them orange, I just clicking on an orange here and tell them, hey, make it orange. Orange is kind of an off color there. I'm just picking some standard colors. You want more of a cyan color? There's your any spectrum in the color scheme that you can come up with on that. That would be a dumb pixel though. A lot of your floodlights that are RGB floodlights are what they call dumb RGB. This floodlight can only do obviously one color. There's only one diode in it. It can do one color. Not to say that you can't have 3 or 4 floodlights around, each one doing a different color, but you have to make sure you have them on different channels and all that stuff. One channel, one set of dumbs, and it's all going to be the same color. Now when you go to the smart pixels, you can then start doing your different effects, and this is where they really get cool. Like this is to simulate fire. I'm not sure how well it shows up on the computer. And on this stuff, we can also software, and this is all going to be in your software where you can make different adjustments to it and all that stuff. As I stated before, we use all Light-O-Rama. It's a Light-O-Rama controller hooked to this computer right now that's running it for it's actually the Pixie 16. That controller running a regular network can run 1,600 of these bulbs set up as is. It's a very simple plug and play, not very complicated, but there's many different patterns you can do. You can add, subtract colors, just all kinds of different things. Try and play around here a little bit, show you some of the different things you can do. And I'm using the matrix screen because as you can tell it's just one solid black thing to make it do all that different things. You can also, and then of course if you want to take them and put them in different shapes, I can have the stars on top doing different things. I still have to stop that, and I'm just running a demonstration mode here, kind of basically give you an idea of what it is. Or you can clip them all. And then, like I say, there's several different things you can do. You learn it, you play with it. Not crazy about that color, changing your color around. But this is your big difference between Smart Pixel and Dumb Pixel. Smarts, I can make each one of them do a different color through the computer and all that stuff. And the computer does it all for you. It's not like I have to say this. I just literally see how fast I'm clicking around. Where if you're running what they call Dumb Pixels, then you have to have them all the same color. You can make Smart Pixels act like Dumb Pixels. Obviously, you see me doing it. I can turn the entire thing green, or I can make it do the different patterns. Or Dumb Pixels, you only can do the one color per the entire strand. It is two different controllers. The Pixie 16 or all that are made for Smart Pixel controls. I can make it act like the other, but if you're running Dumb Pixels, it takes a different controller where it's just sending straight power to each color line, so to speak. It's not sending a signal. You want to know how the difference? You can kind of tell a strand whether it's Smart Pixel or Dumb Pixel. Smart Pixels only run 3 wires. There's only 3 wires in this cord. I don't know how we probably can't see it real well. They run a positive, a negative, and a signal wire. There's little microprocessors in each one of these lights, individual lights, that it gets the signal, each one reads it, and it knows what each individual bulb's supposed to do. If you're running a dumb string of lights, there will be 4 wires in this cord. I don't happen to have one handy here, but there'll be 4 wires. They are wired up differently. That's why this is a 3-wire connector. Dumb Pixels take a 4-wire connector. This flood, there's 4 wires in this cord. One's basically your positive, one's for red, one's for green, one's for blue. Your controller regulates the power going to each one to make it do the different colors. Obviously green, it's all green. Red's all red. Blue's all red, blue. It all goes back to your color mixing. Easy to see on your screen, easy to see what it does. The other thing you have to keep in mind with the Smart Pixels, there's 3 wires. As I said, one is positive, one is negative, and one is the data signal. You can see on this strand here, these are designed for it, you have to be very careful how long what we call the run is. How far is that light setup from the control box? As a general rule, running 12 volt, and these will run on either 12 or 5 volt, depending on which ones you buy. We run all 12 volt. We found less problems with power and all that stuff running the 12 volt systems. So all our bulbs run on 12 volt. If you have to run a long distance from your box to your control, to your lights, you may have to do what they call power injection. A lot of these lights, make sure if you're running a long run, you make sure you buy them this way. They have this extra little pigtail here. Here's the pigtail that you would connect another strand of lights into. And then they have what they call the power injection. This would be out where your lights are, or part way, or wherever you need to. You would hook another power supply, giving more 12 volt power. As you go further down a line or get further from the boxes, the power loss, it's minor, but it's enough that the data signal won't work properly. You don't have to inject the data, but you may have to inject power. We run all of our Smart Pixels, we keep the cords no longer than 20 feet. The cords, in other words, these setups are no more than 20 feet from the control box. I've never had to do a power injection. I don't know if I can get away with more length or not. They say that's kind of about the limits before you start having problems. I decided to play it safe. Make sure, you know what, the box is within 20 feet of my items. We're adding another feature this year with Pixels. It's going to be another box. That box will be out there. Obviously, I only have to run an electrical cord and a Cat 5 cable to that box. That way, I'm not having to power inject. If you're doing a really big display with a lot of pixels all around, all that stuff, you're probably going to be doing power injection. And that is simply hooking into the system here and there to supply more power to these lights. With these lights, you also, depending on your control board and how you have it configured in that, you're limited to how many of these you can hook together per channel. These control boxes are just like the other control boxes. I've got 16 cords coming out. They're just not the regular style plug-in. They're a screw type plug-in. You can't just hook a whole bunch of them in line. Depending on the software, the controller, and everything else, you are going to be limited as to how many you can put on each line. It's just the way the whole system has to work. Short version of it, we're running the Light-O-Rama Pixie 16 on the regular Light-O-Rama network style. So I am capped at 100 of these lights per channel. So to run 1600 of these lights, it takes an entire control box. That's a choice I made. It's the way we do it. Like I say, these are how we do's. We went with the Light-O-Rama. We like the system. I'm fine with that. I can set my stuff up so I'm real close to stuff. I'm not having to do big long runs. Like I say, there's 5-volt systems and 12-volt systems. We've just found, I think most everybody's using the 12-volt systems now. To me, it just seemed like a little better setup. That just works for us. Your dumb RGBs, I believe, do all run on 12-volt. That was the other reason we kind of went 12-volt. If I need to flip a power supply over to the other ones, I've got 12-volt power supplies. So like I say, dumb RGBs, pixels, they all have to be the same color. If you go smart, then you can make them do different effects. Pick one that shows a little better. That one didn't work out very well either. You have a lot more control over everything you want them to do. A lot more of the special effects and all that stuff. And then there's different things you can do playing around with how you set them up in there. They are a little more complicated to set up in the software. It's not just, we'll plug one thing in and go. I have to actually kind of, lack of a better way of explaining it, design that in the software so that the software knows how that screen is set up. The stars are set up in the software so that it knows the star part and it knows this part, so that the patterns all work properly. And you can even play around with that a little bit and even get different effects. There's a lot of things you can do. Like I say, we run the Light-O-Rama software. There's others, I get it. This is how we do it. This is what we prefer. Check out all the other ones, see what you like, but hopefully this explains a little bit more about the differences in pixels, some of the challenges with pixels. We love them. We have them in our display. We have other things in our display too that aren't pixel, but we do like them. They do represent challenges in some ways to use them and all that stuff. They are definitely more expensive. There's 100 of them on here, and don't quote me on it, but it's probably around $35–40 for this strand for just 100 of these. You can check around. Those don't come from Light-O-Rama, just so you know. Only my software and electronics come from Light-O-Rama. These you can pick up Amazon, eBay. Just they're called smart pixels. And like I say, dumb pixels, that's the majority of your floods, but you can use them in your display also, as long as you're fine and you only want one solid color. That's your big difference. Hope it helped. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, God bless and enjoy.